All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Bass and Furious TV. Guys, as you can see, I got my rod and reel with me here. Also got my shirts with me here, guys. I'm out here doing a little bit of fishing. I've already caught one pretty good one, and right now I just missed a bite. So I felt like that's a perfect time to talk about what I want to talk about for today's video. And honestly, guys, a lot of people aren't going to talk about this. A lot of people, you never hear this side of the story, this side of the video. So I wanted to do a video today, but before I get into it, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. It's been growing a lot lately, so I'm super excited about that. And just glad that everybody keeps rocking with me. So felt like it's only right to talk about this. Like I said, for the video, the topic says, you know, my top 5. And as you guys see, it's beautiful out here. Fall, leaves falling everywhere. It looks great out here. I'm gonna make a few casts. I'm out here fishing this little beaver dam deal. And like I said, I just got a bite, but take a second. And like I said, a lot of people, you're not gonna hear them talk about this. They're not gonna tell you about this kind of stuff in the fishing when it comes to, but I feel like a lot of my videos, I do a pretty good job of being thorough about what I do and what's going on the water. I'm not really giving a lot about, obviously, locations, and sometimes I give what I'm fishing, sometimes I don't. Honestly, because I know a lot of these places I got to go back to, and I feel like you know, some stuff you need to hold on to, right? This is a competitive deal, right? Like it is a pretty competitive deal. I definitely do videos sharing on how to catch fish and all that good stuff. Like I do that all the time. I share all kinds of stuff with everybody, but sometimes I just hold on to stuff. So it is what it is. So for this video, like I said, I wanted to kind of dive into my top 5 for me, my top 5 mistakes of my 2022 season. From the co-angler perspective. I won't go into the boater side. I won't go into any of that. I'm just gonna go from my co-angler perspective, what I did, and you know, what I felt like I could have did better, what I felt like could have got me a few more bites, maybe a few better finishes here, this type of thing. So number 5 is I really don't know where to put this at particular on the list, but number 5 would be organization, tackle organization. And I say it a lot, and you guys know I got videos about organizing tackle and all that stuff. The thing is, my tackle is organized, but it's a lot. And the reason why that is because I am still trying to figure out what baits work during what times of year on certain bodies of water. And I spent all last year doing that, to the point where I feel so comfortable that I could probably take 3 different colors of crankbaits to every body of water and I'll get bit if they're biting a crankbait. I got, I think, 4 different worm colors that if they're biting a worm, I'll take these 4 worm colors to any body of water that I fished last year and I'll get bit. That's like finesse worms. Senko, same thing. I think I got 3 Senko colors that I'll take everywhere. 1 special Senko color, but 3 regular Senko colors that I'll take everywhere and I'll get bit. But I do feel like last year that I bought tackle organizers, it may have been, it was too much. Just too much. It would get to be to the point where I'm trying to find and looking for and figuring out. And like I said, I know what, after, sorry guys, 1 sec. After doing it for a year, I know what I needed to be fishing, but I didn't know that starting out. Didn't know it. I spent all year in my boat, multiple trips, multiple times, different places, talking to different people, figuring this out, figuring that out, to where I really got comfortable with what I need to bring. And for next year, that's my biggest thing, is minimizing what I bring to 1 bag. Like I said, three different, some hooks, some weights, and then just go fishing. So that brings me to my number 4 point. The number 4 point, I say, probably my biggest mistake that I did last season personally. Like I said, just a reflection with yourself is always good. But one of the biggest things was just that, just going fishing. Just going fishing. Like I make a cast, I get bit, I miss it. If I felt like it was a smaller fish, why wouldn't I like downsize my worm? Nope, I just kept throwing that big worm. I did it at the James River. I had a big worm on. I got like so many bites. I didn't know what they were. When I finally set the hook on one, it was a keeper bass. But that wasn't what the bite felt like every time. I felt like it was crappie and perch and all kinds of stuff in there biting. It's just, I wouldn't get drilled like the bluegill. I wouldn't get that type of thing, but it just, I couldn't tell. And I still threw the big Zoom trick worm. I should have ripped it in half. I didn't rip it in half. It's just little stuff like that. Just going fishing. I go out here, I make this pitch. Make this adjustment, make that. And the first year when I actually did really well, I did make those adjustments. I feel like I made those adjustments. And this time If you watched my last video when I talked about tournaments, I just, like, halfway through the season, I kind of just got out my game. I just kind of was completely out. I didn't feel like making adjustments. I just felt like because honestly what was happening is their bites weren't coming. So when the bites don't come, you start to second guess everything. So, and if you're not getting the right type of bites, you're second guessing everything. What I try to develop all year, and I feel like I have now, is a 1-2 punch. 2 baits that I can pull out and throw on any body of water, and between the 2 of them, I'm going to get bit. While I would like for that to be a spinnerbait and a jig, it's not always a spinnerbait and a jig. Sometimes it's a drop shot and a shaky head. Sometimes it's a crankbait and a buzz bait. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's different things. And if I don't get, basically the tournaments I did good in, I got dialed in pretty early. On the tournaments I didn't do good in, it would be like 11 o'clock and I wouldn't have a fish, and I would just struggle for the rest of the day. And typically when it was 11 o'clock, I didn't have a fish. Also 11 o'clock, my boater didn't have a fish. So obviously there was a struggle bus going on at that time. There was no fish, there was no bites. I couldn't get keyed in on anything. And that was just my day. That was the end of it. So with that being said, just number 4, I would say my biggest mistake is just go fishing. Just go fishing. Mistake number 3 is, it kind of ties into the first 2, but less time changing baits, more time making accurate casts. So there were several times where I would pull up to a good string of docks, but I had already started retying a drop shot, or I got hung up and I lost my bait or something like that. It would be a string of docks. The boater would only hit the one outside piling. I could have pitched at 6, 7, 8 different pilings. I can pitch really quick. I'm like rapid fire when it comes to pitching. Like that soccer machine that pitches out the balls automatically. Speaking of which, y'all need to reach out to me because I need that soccer balls machine for my son. So talk to me. I think it's like Baller something. Y'all got to reach out to me. I need that soccer thing for my son. But anyways, so there were so many times where I could pull out my crankbait, but I just decided that I wanted to take off the chartreuse crankbait and I wanted to go to a shad pattern or a red pattern or something like that. And I go to switch, but I missed like 4 or 5 good docks, 3 good, while I'm sitting down there retying. What I should have did is, when the area came up that looked good, drop whatever I was working on down in the bottom and make the correct pitches. I would look up and the dock would be gone, because the boater, the boaters, you gotta spend a lot of times, they're looking for active fish. If they don't get bit off the end piling with that 4-pounder, they don't care about any of it. And then I had some boaters that pitched at every piling for 47 minutes. Skip the Senko under every piling for the whole tournament. That's all they did. So basically all I'm doing is fishing out in the middle of nowhere. It's hard to get dialed when you're just fishing out in the middle of nowhere, man. It's really hard to get dialed. So then I wouldn't get dialed. I get frustrated. I just spend more time retying, hoping for that Hail Mary cast where I get one good shot in there, and I wanted to have the right bait on for that one good shot because I felt like I'll get one good cast in here. But again, I missed all those chances. When you're fishing, you guys know, like I know, you'll fish a whole stretch of bank. Nothing. You make one pitch, bow, 3-pounder. Nothing for the next 2 hours. But you had to make that one pitch to get the 3-pounder. So for number 3, I would say that's it. Just spending too much time retying. It all goes together, like retying, organization, all that. It's kind of in the same category, but not quite. Second is this is a tough one to get out here, right? This is a tough one to get out here. So when you get in a boat with a guy and you're a co-angler and the vibe is good, right? Like you guys are having a good time. You're fishing it like a team tournament, but not really, because obviously you're in the back, he's in the front. It's not a team tournament. It's really one guy. But the vibe is good, and you're talking, and you guys are connecting, and you guys have similarities regarding your different things. A lot of times when I get in that mode, sometimes I kind of forget about the fishing part of it, right? Like, I'm just enjoying my day at that time, which you're supposed to do. You're supposed to enjoy your day, right? You want to enjoy your day. But the reality is we're still fishing. So I'm enjoying, I'm retying, I'm eating a sandwich, I'm chilling. But I ain't catching no bass, man. So like, and then I get back in and I got 3, whereas I could have had 4 if I just kept my mind like locked in on I'm here to do good in this tournament. I want to make friends, I want to enjoy, but I have more time to talk to you, and I'll probably be in a better mood if I get a check at the end of this thing. Otherwise, I'm going to catch you later, and we'll see you later. But anyways, I'm not mad that I did that. Let me just put that out there. I'm not mad that I did that. I'm not mad that I took time out. I'm not mad that I connected with these people and enjoyed some of my conversations, because sometimes if the day never turns around, the day never goes good, and then you never had the good conversation as well, man, that can be a hard ride. And if you got like a 5-hour drive to get home, that can be an absolute disaster, man. That'll take a toll on your head. If you don't have a good fishing day, you don't connect at all, you're not having any fun at all, that can take a toll on you, man. So I'm glad that I did the connecting. But like I said, that's a tough one to kind of throw out there. And I put it up pretty high. I didn't necessarily need to put it up that high, but I did notice that a couple times in the season where I'm just, whether, and it sometimes it didn't even have to do with the boulder. I just kind of like just kind of checked out in a sense, and just was like, I don't want to say checked out. I never really check out, but just, you know, certain, this is going on, this isn't going my way, this isn't going my way. What do I need to do? Just sit down. I haven't never sat down in a tournament so much as I did this year. I just sat down, but a lot of that had to do with the waves and stuff. I wouldn't be feeling good, so I couldn't take all the waves. So I would just have to like sit down. And that's, you know, take that one kind of how you want to take it. It is what it is when it comes to that one, especially when it comes to these tournaments. Lastly, number one is on myself, and this is 100% on me. And I think I may have said this before, but number one on me. Number one mistake that I made this year is allowing variables that I can't control to take me out of my game. And there's a part two to that, not being vocal regarding the variables so that I can get back in the game, if that makes sense. So if you guys watch some of the videos of these guys, the co-anglers that put their videos up, you'll see they'll pitch, and then the boater will turn the boat a little bit to the side, and then before they go to make a pitch at a really good looking area and catch like a 4-pounder, they'll say like, hey buddy, you mind if I cast in there? And the boater will look at him and be like, nah. Or the boater will look at them and be like, dude, no problem, get in there, go get him, right? Like, so I would be so frustrated on the part that I was not getting the opportunities to make the proper cast to catch the bass, because the guy in the front of the boat would just be all over the place, weird angles. We're fishing from the side. He's fishing backwards on my half of the boat. He's fishing on the front half of the boat. He's fishing behind the boat, beside the boat. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I go to cast and my line's going to cross his line because he's casting back on my side. That happened to me so many times this year. And I would just get frustrated. I would get quiet. Then I would start being really aggressive. I would start casting like way up closer towards the front, not interfering, but just trying to cut off that angle so the guy didn't think he could back cast. That was probably the biggest thing I had all season, was those back casts. The boater would realize that I fished a little bit slower sometimes because I was getting frustrated, and I would start slowing down because we weren't catching fish, we weren't around fish, and we weren't making any adjustments. So I would slow down, and then they would just start casting forward, backwards, behind the boat, over my head, beside, on the other side of my boat. There were multiple fish caught at my feet from the boater casting back on my half of the boat this year. And it just kind of took me out. And I focused on, that was something that I could control, and I didn't do anything to control it. I just kind of let it just take its course, and then I get back in and I catch one fish, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? Like, wait, I was in a tournament and I was supposed to be catching fish, and that didn't happen. That happened to me so many times, and it's really frustrating. Sometimes it's unavoidable. The boat spins around. They were going to make a pitch at that log. The boat goes forward. We're fishing tidal places. The boat gets loose. They go that way, and then they got to flip back around. Sorry, guys. I'm still waiting for this cast to produce something, so let me check it real quick. Hold on. Got nothing. You guys fish like this with one hand, just letting the bail go? Oh shoot, thought I might have had something. Just spinning it. If I get hooked, I'm gonna have to take up so much line with this one hand. Just trying to mainly make sure my bait isn't hung. Oh boy, just hopped it over a log. I should have got bit right there. So anyways, I would focus on things, and then there were certain things I could control that I wouldn't say anything about. Then I would get vocal, but I really only have like 2 gears. I'm really like really nice, or I'm like an angry person. There's a mid-range that I've been working on and developing for like the last 3 to 5 years, to where I can just have like a nice conversation and express myself nicely, but without looking like I'm mad, but my facial expressions still tell you that I'm very upset. So I've been working on that, guys. And honestly, I'm 41, so like you guys are like, seriously, dude? But I'm serious. Like, I worked in a call center forever, so people didn't see my facial expressions. I could be really mad. I could just put you on mute. And I didn't really have to say much. Like, when I went through high school, I didn't really say much. I wasn't really like a vocal, kind of out there public speaking kind of person. That wasn't my deal. So that took me, it takes you a little bit when you're trying to learn those kind of things. So the main thing for me was just to focus on what I can control. So that's making the little changes to the bait, being better organized, coming up with certain ways to try to catch fish, downsizing. I did that a lot. I hate doing that, but I did that a lot. If I didn't catch anything by like 2 o'clock, I would just tie on the biggest bait in my bag and I would just throw that at the end of the day, because it's very rare that I'd rather just go for big fish and try to get some money that way. So if 2 o'clock I only got like one keeper, I'm throwing a mag draft the rest of the day, or a buzz bait the rest of the day. I think one day I threw a giant swim bait. Like, I don't care, especially at the end, because the day didn't go according to plan. Nobody's catching any fish. I got to swing for the fences at this point to try to get something. So I would do that sometimes. Like I said, I just got messed up, and I don't think I ever really got it back. But the good thing is, toward the end of the year, I did, and I started feeling really good about the end of the year. I feel really good about going into next year, so I'm super excited about that. But I would say that's my top 5 for me personally, just reflecting on what I did and what I could have done better this year. I could have done better this year. I'm fishing against a lot of these anglers that have these techniques that are like way different. They're throwing a shaky head, but they got this on their shaky head. They're doing this. They're being creative, coming up with new things, innovations, trying new stuff, trying new variations, this type of thing. And I'm sticking with tried and true, which is fine, because tried and true will work a lot of times as a voter. At the Cove, you do have to. And honestly, it helped me at the Chesapeake Bay. I got a little bit creative at the Chesapeake Bay, and that's how I got my 2 fish, because I was getting my butt handed to me. Couldn't hook nothing. Oh, that's another thing too. Hooking fish. I know I get a lot of grief about my hook sets, and that's fine. But just, man, guys, I don't think I missed any like key bass, but I definitely missed fish this year. I definitely missed fish. And when it comes down to this, you can't really miss fish. I say that, but the tournament I won, I missed the 2.5 pounder. I missed them, and then I ended up catching almost a 4. So, and that day, it was just my day. It was my time. It worked out great, but I missed fish that day, and I turned around and caught a better fish. This time, I'm missing one. We're only getting 1 bite in every hour and 15 minutes. Can't miss one. Can't miss one at that. When the bites are that few and far between, you can't miss one. Everything has to be accurate. Everything has to be on point. So that's a big thing I'm going to work on next year, is that, and that's why I'm out here right now, honestly. I got on a bait that I normally don't fish, and what I do is I just come out here with these type of deals, these downsized small deals, and just try to set the hook as much as I can. Set the hook as much as I can. Cast out as much as I can, and try to set the hook as much as I can. Give them time to take the bait. Don't give them time to take the bait. Yank on them quickly, yank on them not so quickly. These are things I'm trying to work on so I can be better at. But anyways, a moment of reflection there, guys. I am going to make a few casts here and see if I can get some bites going. I did want to do this video. Like I said, a lot of times I always hear this, man, you're always giving these guys, you're always saying this. Yeah, but honestly, guys, I spend more time, I beat myself up more than anybody else out here is going to beat myself up. Well, there might be one person that gives me a run for my money, but for the most part, I'm the one who beats myself up. I'm very hard on myself, which is why I'm also then turn around and be hard on other people, because I expect certain things from myself. I expect that when I show up, if I don't catch fish, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't catch fish. I didn't do my job. I didn't set the hook properly. I did set the hook properly. I wasn't around the right type of fish. I should have made better decisions. That's how I take accountability when I mess up. Like Draymond Green says on this podcast, you got to own that, man. I own that. When I mess up or when I make a mistake, when it comes to my fishing and what I do, I own that, man. I messed up. I lost the fish. I lost the fish at Smith Mountain Lake that cost me $1,200. I lost them. I can't blame my equipment on that. I kind of could blame my equipment on that, because it didn't work properly. Because I was using some stuff that I ain't never used before. So I can, sort of. But at the end of the day, I lost that fish, right? So I take accountability when I mess up on my stuff. I have no problem doing that. I'll gladly listen to you if I think you know what you're talking about. If I don't, and I think you're just a troll, then I'm not going to talk. I ain't going to listen to that. So anyways, as always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Hope this video helps. I think it's good for everybody to do, to kind of reflect on what you did and what you could have done better, what you could have did different. I don't think there's any fish that I lost this year that would have made me money except for one. There was one fish on Kerr Lake that would have given me a limit on a fluke. It had happened to me twice on a fluke. 50% hookup ratio with me and flukes. It is what it is. I understand that when I tie it on. But I did lose 2, I think. One, I'm not sure if he would have kept. The second one, I know he would have kept. That would have put me inside the top 10 and gave me a pretty decent check. I lost him. Twitch, didn't expect it. He came, he took it. I saw him take it. I set the hook. He wasn't there. Boater saw it. Everybody saw it. It cost me at the James River. I set the hook on a fish. You heard in my video, I set the hook on a fish. Ike Nelly saw it, saw the swirl. It was a good fish. It was probably a 4-pounder. And I trying to set the hook on a shaky head with a wimpy rod. Wrong action, wrong line. All my stuff was wrong for that fish, and I lost it. So that's on me. I lost it on nothing. Have I gotten fish on that setup before? Check, yeah. I caught the rest of the limit on that same setup. But that one, it wasn't right. Things didn't line up right, and it's on me. So I take responsibility when I do that. But as always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to check out my link tree and check out some of my stuff. If you get a chance, check out some of my t-shirts and my motivational shirts and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. And be sure to follow my new deal. It's the Co-Angler Chronicles. I'm gonna be talking about all this kinds of stuff and only digging deeper on the Co-Angler Chronicles. You guys aren't gonna want to miss it. You aren't going to want to miss it. You're going to want to hear this. You're going to want to catch that. So be sure to follow it on Instagram, and I will put the link up as soon as I get the first episode up. So as always, I appreciate everyone for watching. Thank you again. I am going to try to see if I can catch me a little bass. So peace. I'm out.